Yeah, that was, okay, thanks. Appreciate it. That was a trip, you know, because Zoom converts, right? When we're done, it says Zoom is converting. And then if you want to shut your computer down, it says, okay, you want to stop converting? Well, I want to shut my computer down. Okay, so I guess I want to stop converting. Well, that's it. You're not converted. So I had to come in here the other day and convert, and then get them on, upload them to YouTube, and then get them to you guys. And it's just for a technically challenged older guy. Like when I grew up, Dick Tracy two-way radios were science fiction. And I mean like Flash Gordon, Fly to Mars science fiction. And now everybody's got one, right? So I'm going to try. Weird. So why am I seeing Alec? Why am I seeing you, Alec? I'm seeing only Alec. Somebody explain that?
It's the first person that logs in. A lot of times it's stuck as a person that everyone sees if you're not in gallery view.
Should I log off and log back on?
It won't. It usually doesn't fix it. I've had this happen with Patrick too. He used to log in when I got off of work.
Yeah.
And it would just get stuck that way. You can try it. Sometimes logging on and off does
Well,
it.
let me try muting everyone except me and try speaker view. So no mute. Okay, so everybody on here, Alec, mute. So far there's 9 of us, including me. I'm gonna put speaker view, and that should show me, but it isn't. It's somebody's head. It's John's head. So yeah, that's it. So that's okay. I'll go back to gallery view somehow. Gallery view. Okay, we'll go back to gallery view for the time being, and I'll take roll. We'll do our safety meeting. I'll share screen for that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about that cabinet drawing from last week, just a little bit, and then we're going to do a very simple floor plan of this room. We're going to sketch and dimension. I've already sketched and dimensioned, but do you guys have paper and pencil like I asked you to? Everybody got that? Hopefully everybody's got it. Scale rule, that drawing stuff. Do a very simple drawing, and then I'm going to show you a tool I got today, and we're going to watch a couple of videos. So I don't know how long I'm good for tonight, because I've been up since 5, just going like crazy. We leave tomorrow for 4 nights. We're pulling my trailer, pull my trailer out of here. I have a 33-foot fifth wheel, Winnebago fifth wheel, and I'm taking with my wife up to Pismo Dunes. And you know, RVing is a very active lifestyle. It's work, man. Camping is work. Even glamping is work. But it's just like, and then for somebody as obsessive as I am, I can't leave on a trip without totally buffing out my vehicle. So, you know, the trailer's
Gotta
huge.
stock it up.
It's huge, man. I watched that thing. I mean, it's enough about that. In the meantime, I am actually sort of fired up. Hey, Donna, we'll take roll, and then if someone will help me remember when we get going, like if I'm doing something on the board or something like that, for me to change the pin video, because that's what it'll record, right? That's what I see is what records, right? Who's my okay. So here we go, roll call. Alec. Oh yeah, okay. I'll look up for you guys too. You can when I call your name, unmute yourself and say here, Alec.
Here.
Thank you. Austin. Jose Cornejo.
Here.
Noel.
Here.
Donna.
Here.
Victor Gallegos. Enrique Gregorio. Yeah, he's shown up ever either. Yeah. Enrique Gregorio. Eric Mendez?
Here.
Arthur Nelson. Are you here, Art? Brandon Paz Gallo.
I'm here.
Brandon John Sesser.
Here.
Michael Silva. Oh, shit. Sorry. He called me, so he should be able to get on. Jose Silva.
Here.
Jose Silva. Yes. Mike, get on. That link works.
That link works? I tried it like 3 or 4 times and it didn't work for me, but I'll try it again.
Didn't you guys get on with the link on the syllabus? Yeah, but you probably, because I hadn't started the meeting yet, so I had to go and start the meeting a different way. So, but it works now. So come on.
I'll try it again.
I'm gonna mark you here, so get here. Michael Silva is gonna be here. Jose Silva Nunez is here. James Stevens? Vinny Vasquez? Beginning to think Vinny Vasquez is a made-up name. Braun Winogren? Shit, man. Ryder?
Here.
Ryder? Yeah,
I'm here.
Ryder made it. Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. Because this is so, this method of teaching for me is so new, it's so dynamic. It's like constantly changing. I don't have any set stuff down like I did for years of how to relate. Whereas in this shop, I can virtually relate to you all on so many levels. It's ridiculous, because we can see things and get together and show things, and it's right here. So this has just been a challenge. And I was thinking at one point, because I wanted to show you how to trim out a door. And so I got some trim, I got some new casing, I got a new pin nailer. And then I thought, I'll just say, hey, watch the video. So I've been all over the place, but now I have a little outline. And I told some of you the outline, some of you hadn't joined yet, but we're going to do a safety meeting right now. Hopefully some people will wander in. If you started recently, Michael, I got you in. Everybody that's here, you said here, right? Everybody? Good. Donna, you're on your side. There you go. What are you eating? Looks good.
Vegetables.
I'm really hungry. I'm super hungry right now.
You got to get yourself a snack.
I know. I almost turned around and went home. But we're going to get through this, and I've lost my damn train of thought. Okay, we're going to do a safety meeting. And then, if anybody jumps in, if you see anybody, if I'm distracted, it looks like they weren't here initially, let me know. Okay, thanks. So let's go to share screen and go to pipeline, share that. I think we can get up into Canvas that way. Yeah. I thought I had Canvas up here. Okay, are you guys seeing the Canvas screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is week 5, right? It's the 24th. I reckon it is. So does anybody know what an MSDS sheet is? Anybody out there? Doesn't ring a bell to anybody? Okay, MSDS, I don't know why this is SDS, but it's actually MSDS, is Manufacturer Safety Data Sheet. And they got to be provided to anybody and everybody. Where is this? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I got to minimize you guys. And then see this. There's another way to see this, and I can't remember. Okay, but you guys can you see? Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start it out. Safety data sheet. What is a safety data sheet? SDS. A safety data sheet is a document that contains information on the chemical makeup, use, storage, handling, emergency procedures, and potential health effects related to hazardous material. The SDS contains much more information about the material than the label on the container. SDSs are prepared and written by the manufacturer of the material, hence MSDS. All right, so Alec, read, please.
All right. What is the purpose of an SDS? The purpose of an SDS is to inform you of the material's chemical makeup, the material's physical properties or fast-acting health effects that make it dangerous to handle, the level of protective gear you need to wear to work safely with the material, the first aid treatment to be provided when someone is exposed to the material, the pre-planning needed for safety handling spills, fires, and day-to-day operations, and how to respond to accidents. What information is on the SDS? There are 9 categories of information that must be present on an SDS. These are chemical identity, health hazard data, manufacturer information, precautions for safe handling and use, hazardous ingredients, exposure controls / personal protection, physical and chemical properties, and fire and explosion hazard data.
Okay, John.
Reactivity data. Even with all the above information on an SDS, it might not have everything you need to know about a material. For example, health hazard information is usually presented in general terms. Your health and safety specialist should be able to help you find more information if it is needed. Why is an SDS hard to read? Originally, SDSs were intended to be used by industrial hygienists, chemical engineers, and safety professionals. Now, SDSs are used by employers, emergency responders, and anyone else requiring information on a material. Some SDSs look very different from others. This is because the law specifies the content of the SDS, but the format is left up to the manufacturer of the material.
Okay, Donna, finish this out.
I can't see it.
Okay, well, you're on a phone, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, someone that can see it, just chime in there, start reading. When I use.
When would I use an SDS? You should always know the hazards of a material before you start using it. For most people who work with material, I can't see that part.
With
SDS that are more important than others, you should always read the name of the material, know the hazards, understand
the safe handling and storage requirements.
And understand what to do in an emergency. SDSs form the cornerstone of this standard. The hazard communication standard requires employers to maintain an
inventory of
materials, provide employees training on the potential hazards associated with the material, obtain and maintain SDS
for each material on site.
There it is. Oh, got it. Establish proper methods and types of labels and inform contractors of the hazards that their employees may be exposed to in their work area. For more detailed information, discuss your questions with safety and health representatives or visit the website maintained by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration at.
So, yeah, I don't say where OSHA was, but so anybody have any comments about that? Any comments at all? But it seemed like no one was familiar with MSDSs. And, as finished carpenters or as carpenters or as really anybody working, constructing anything, there's a chance you're going to be exposed to chemicals. If nothing else, you're going to prime and paint something or be around something that gets primed and painted or lacquered, or sanding sealer and lacquer, or varnish with spar varnish or polyurethane. a host and a variety of things, and adhesives and glues, and all of those things that contain chemicals that are harmful to humans have to, by law, have an MSDS sheet. And actually, your employer has to, by law, make you aware of those sheets. And so you should be made aware of the hazards of the stuff you're working with. And I'll tell you right now, your employer is probably not going to do that. So it's really on you. And ultimately, your safety is always on you. Right? I mean, does anybody have any questions about that? To me, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's I always felt it was extremely unfair as an employer to to provide as safe a working environment as I could, good tooling, good pay, and then have an employee through his or her own negligence, their own thoughtlessness, their own carelessness, get hurt, and then now I gotta pay. I never really dug that. So the thing is, don't get hurt, man, because it costs everybody. But it, really costs the person that gets hurt. Like, I don't know if you can see this. You probably can't, but it's my middle finger, the one that's got the blood thing on it. I'm not giving the guys a finger, but I put that through the table saw right down the middle of it. I was looking at my bone. I was looking at a curve through my finger at my bone. Yeah, it sucked. So you should, no, I guess not. If I'm sharing the screen, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So there's our first aid topic, or I'm sorry, our safety meeting topic, and nobody has any other questions about it. And I'll just finish up with, there are some things you really should know about, like zinc copernate. Now, I don't think you can even get it anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if you could still get it. But it's what we used to buy and roll and brush on, even pressure treated, but stuff that was coming in contact with the earth or underneath decks and stuff like that. Really nasty stuff that you don't want to get on your skin because it's transdermal. You can get poisoned by it by having it touch your skin and the vapor. So it's a double whammy, super bad stuff, like mess you up for life, forever. So, and that's just one thing. So just be aware. And I'll also throw out that don't be afraid of finishes. Don't be afraid, and maybe that's not a good way to put it, but I would strongly suggest that you take every opportunity to become familiar with the painting and finishing trades, because the more you know about that, the better carpenter you're going to be, the better you're going to be able to leave it for them and maybe do your own finishes. That's how you can control. Like we've built stuff. I've caused stuff to be built, design stuff, and had stuff built in the shop, and had it be just primo, and then had it be ruined by a painter or a finisher. Just a bad stain job or a bad paint job. It can happen. So, and they're worth their dough generally, because I wouldn't breathe that stuff all day long. No thanks. Even water-based stuff. It's like, no thanks. Not for me. But it's a good thing to know. I mean, good finishers. Like if any of you wanted to apprentice yourself to like the best cabinet finisher around, hit me up, shoot me an email, and tell me, yeah, I would love to do that, and I'll turn you on to a guy that is looking, unless he's found somebody, he's looking to pass it on to. His name's Randy Viscara. He's just one of the best talents, probably the best talent in Santa Barbara. Okay, we had a safety meeting. Now, I am going to stop that share and go to, wait, I'm on pin video. Okay. So do you guys have control over what you see? I mean, you all seeing me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. Because you won't be seeing me for long. what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pan this room. Classroom 24. A bunch of you have been in classroom 24, and some of you have not been in classroom 24. I'd say raise your hand, but I can't see anybody. So this is what the shop looks like. Oh, hey, what's this? Oh my gosh. Let's just walk over here. Focus on this. Does this look familiar to anybody? Does it look familiar?
What a nice cabinet.
Yeah, that cabinet got built in an hour. And it's a Euro style, so it's frameless. The box is frameless. It's soft. It's hung on soft close hinges, which are the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's got clip-on hinges, so the doors come off really easy. And it's got a top spreader and a rear spreader. I might label these. It's got a side and a side. We'll call them both unfinished sides. And it's got a bottom. It's got a 1/4 inch back, and it's got a top nailer and a bottom nailer. And that's the components other than the kick that was built loose, 2 inches back from the face and about a 1/16 in on either side. So this cabinet can butt up to another cabinet and the kick won't get in the way. But essentially, like I showed you on the board, if you remember what I showed on the board last week, about ganging together cabinets, you'd build one big long kick. Now it's just as big a kick as you could build, long a kick as you could build. And then you'd set various and sundry boxes on the right. You set those boxes on and just slide them along, gang them together. And then remember I mentioned the 5mm holes and the sex screws. You just, they align. Cabinet butts into this. As a matter of fact, we're going to just grab another box. Wait, I'm making these boxes for a while. For just a little while. Probably made, I don't know, 20 of them. All different sizes. Make them to the doors. If you were ganging together a bunch of Euro cabinets like these, right? You just butt this one, that unfinished end to that unfinished end. And of course, the one thing you do when you laid this out, knowing that these were going to be unfinished ends, is this would be about 2mm under the side of the cabinet, same as here. So you'd create the reveal right there. But these holes, this has got the same set of holes. Those 5mm holes, they're on both sides. They're done on the same machine. So when that thing butts up flush, you just put a 5mm drill bit through there and it connects to the next hole. And then you put in a female member to receive a male member and screw it together. Nothing to it, right? Okay.
What's the purpose of leaving leaving space on the top of the cabinet there?
That space?
Yes.
That space right there. Material. You don't need to fill it. It's going to get a rough top and a finish top anyway. That's just going to help. So it has to do with the integrity of the cabinet, but you don't need a whole piece. So you can use waste stock and rippings to do front and back nails, because this gets a whole sheet of plywood on it, or a whole piece of plywood that's rough top. It gets that for granite, it gets that for tile. Well, tile might get hardy back or a mortar board, but it gets a full top, so you don't need it. You'd be wasting material. That way you can just use scrap pieces. And you only have to edge band this one. No edge band here, no edge band there, no edge band there. So you have to edge band that, the two sides, and the bottom. Okay, now what was I really doing before I did that? Okay, the floor plan. Here we go. So I panned the shop, and now I'm going to go back to. Tell me how you see this, because I think this is where I had it last week. Do you see it upside down?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, don't you? That's because it is. Interesting. Interesting how that works. But that I even had to figure that out. It's pretty lame, but okay. Here's my sketch. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody that can't see that? I know, Donna, this might be tough for you on your phone. Is anybody else on their phone besides Donna? And Donna, if you want, they loan Chromebooks, the library, so let me know. And if you can see it on something else, this is all being recorded, so you can see it bigger, hopefully on a computer at another time. So this is the floor plan that I sketched. I just, I drew these outside lines. And then I came in and drew the inside lines, and I drew them solid except where the door was. I knew there was going to be a door, so I stopped them. And remember, this is just a sketch. Wavy lines, doesn't matter. It's all hand drawn. I'm just dimensioning my sketch. So I've drawn a room that's 31'6" by 29'0". And I've drawn a cabinet in this corner, which is that cabinet. It's 24 deep, 12-inch space, and a 48-inch cabinet. And then on that same wall, that's not right. That cabinet doesn't go there. See, this is the great thing about scale drawing. That cabinet doesn't go there. Ooh, it must be high. Here we go. Yeah, that cabinet doesn't go there. That cabinet, here's the door. The cabinet's in the opposite corner. It's 1 foot off. And it's got a 16-inch top. So 48-inch cabinet, 12 inches off the wall, and a 16-inch deep top. That's what that looks like. And this window, so that's the plan symbol, and plans are done in plan view. That's not to say there aren't elevations and details and sections and perspectives and isometric drawings, because there are. But in a floor plan, it's a plan view. And so we're looking down on it as if we were way above it. And any window is shown the size of the window at 8.0, which starts 8 inches over from the wall. And that line right through the middle of the wall designates it's a window. Same thing with the opposite wall. There's that window right there. It's all covered up with stuff. And then 180 degrees from that window is that window. And if you look on the plan, we're going to draw these windows are opposed. And they're both 8 inches off the wall and then 8 feet of window with that line bisecting the middle of the wall. That designates that it's a window. Doors, if you have lines, you erase them. That's a 3 foot opening. It's a 3068, and it's a left-hand open out door. So I'm going to tell you this one time. I may do it more than once, but I'm going to tell you how to hand a door. Doors are either left.
He pulled the camera cord.
Okay, you guys see? Oh shit! Sorry.
You know, that cord isn't getting any longer.
It's so smart people. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how did I fix this last time? What did I do? Okay, so we'll unpin and we'll look at the gallery view, and start video. Okay, cool.
You're back.
Back to there and pin that video. Okay, here we go. What I was going to show you before I so rudely interrupted myself is, and if you'll bear with me 1 second, I'm going to so here's how you hand the door. You put your butt to the butts and you approximate the door with your hand/arm. That's a left hand open out door. This would be a right hand open out door. This would be a left hand open in door, and this would be a right hand open in door, if that's what my door did. So this door, the door opens out, the door that you walk in to the classroom, butt to the butts, left hand open out. Okay. Still got video. Cord still same length. Okay, so you see the sketch, right? Everybody see the sketch? Now we're going to draw this to scale. So get out your pads, please, and your scale rules, and your dropping triangles. We'll make this really easy, and hopefully you can follow along. Try not to go too fast. So that first wall is 29. So it's since it's an 8.5 by 11, I'm going to take this is the shortest way I can draw. So remember the thing I said about drawing is you want to get the largest possible scale that you can put on the page. So 29 feet. Let's see it in quarter scale. Quarter scale. Yeah, that's all we're going to get on the damn thing is quarter scale. Okay. So let's go 29. Wow, that's all we're going to get. We'll go 20, 28, 29. Wow, that's all the way across. You know what? I'm going to change this room. I'm going to do some poetic license here. I'm going to make it 20. I'm going to make it 24 feet. Yeah, 24 feet. Okay, 24 feet. I like it. So in quarter scale, and we can put right up here 9, 24, 20. Job number, we're going to call it scale equals 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So that wall is 29 feet in quarter scale. Here we go. 29. I'm sorry, 24. Yeah, 24. A tick mark at the 24 and at the 0, and then we're going to make that back wall. Back wall. Okay. There's the back wall. Now let's go 31'6". So there's, we'll put it on the 0. You know what? That's taking it pretty far down, so I'm going to take some more poetic license. Instead of 31'6", I'm going to make this room 28'6". All right, so put it on a 0. I'm coming down to 28, and if you notice, just past the 28, there is, oh shit, you're not seeing that right here. Just past the 28, I'll go this way. I think you can see that. just past that 28 is another tick mark, which is 28 foot 6. So it's, 27 foot 6, 28, 28 foot 6, 29. So I can put that right on 28 foot 6 and then go to 0. And there's my 28 foot 6 run right there. 28 foot 6, yeah. And then let's just go over and connect the dots. We're going parallel with these 1/4 inch graph lines. So we're going to go all the way over to there. And then make one more exterior wall here. Okay, there's our room. So I just drew a room 24 foot wide by 28 foot 6. So it's 28 foot 6. By 24 foot 0. Hash mark, hash mark. Okay. 24 foot 0. So how hard is that? A rectangle. Only it's a scale rectangle. It actually represents this classroom. Well, close. It represents a room really close to the size of this classroom. Super close. So you guys and gals should hopefully have your rectangle. And again, I'm sorry, Donna, that you may not be able to see this. You probably can't on your phone. I'm not sure how much you guys can see, but it's 28 foot 6 and 24 foot 0. Now I got to draw the interior walls. Before I do, I'm going to go ahead and lay out where that doorway is. So the doorway is from this corner right here, and it's I'm going to do a wall first. So this is 1/4 inch scale. So 1 foot is 1 foot is one of these squares, right? So that's 10 inches over. I'm going to make mark right about 10 inches. And again, the walls, we're going to make them 6 inches. So they're basically half of one of those guys. So there's this wall, and I'm going to measure over just 10 inches. And I can measure that on those on the little tick marks, right? From 0, right next to where it says 1/4, you got a foot and 12 little ticks. So I'm going to measure over from the inside of this wall. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this inside wall right now. And I'm going to draw this one right now. To the center of the wall, center of my 1/4 inch, right? That makes it a 6 inch wall because 1/4 inch equals a foot. That's what most floor plans are. 1/4 inch equals a foot. And then from my doorway, which is 10 inches over, I got a 3 foot door. So I'm going to go 0, 2, 3, make a little hash mark. So there's my doorway opening, and then the last wall, the last interior wall. So now I have a doorway opening, a 3-0 doorway, and a room that's 28.6 by 24.0. So I got the room. I got the parameters of the room, and I got the entrance to the room. I know how you get into the dang thing. Cool. Let's draw the windows. So we got windows on this wall and on this wall. Same wall as the door, and on the opposite wall. And the windows start, if I look at my sketch, the windows start 8 inches over and they go 8 feet. So if I come into the corner, my 1/4 inch scale, go in the little tick mark, right? 0 and all those 12 tick marks by the 1/4. Put it on 8 inches. And then from there, make a little tick mark at 8 feet. Then I can go like that. That defines my window. It starts at 8 inches from the corner. It finishes at 8 feet over. And if I go right in the middle of it and draw a solid line, I've designated that that's a window. Now, there are ways of me telling whoever's reading these plans what kind of window that is, but I don't need to get into that with you right now. And since the windows are diametrically opposed at the same place, I don't even have to measure that 10 or that 8. I can just go parallel with my scale, make a tick mark there, which is 8 inches off the inside corner, a tick mark there, which is 8 feet over, and then in between, a solid line indicating a window. So I got a door and a window perfectly laid out. Yeah. And then I could dimension, I can put some dimensions on it. I can put 8 inches there. You put 8.0 there. Use my scale, the same thing there. This I want to show 3 feet. So I want to draw the door in the direction it opens, which is left hand out. And then I want to show the swing, which I can use the center of my protractor for that. So this is a 3.0 by 6.8 door. This window is a 8.0 by 4.0. Now, what can somebody tell me? What can somebody tell me about window and door dimensions that's really germane? Super important. Something specific about window and door dimensions. Anybody? Anybody at all? Come on, window and door dimensions.
Have to follow egress building code.
Well, that's good. That's a whole other issue, but thank you for pointing that out. What Donna said is there are issues with openings, especially windows, that have to do with egress in bedrooms. You have to have a window that conforms to the dimensions of egress, which allows a human to get out if they can't get out the door if something's on fire. But what I'm looking for is that doors and windows are called out width first, height second, period. So if you call out a window, these windows at 8.040, that's what you're going to get, the window that you wanted, 8 foot wide, 4.0 tall. If you happen to transpose and weren't thinking and called this window a 4.080, you'd get what you don't want. You get 4 wide, 8 tall. That'd be a tough window to put in this wall. Doors too. 3.068 is 3 foot 0 by 6 foot 8 inches. 6 foot 8 inches is a very standard height for doors. 6.8, 7.0, 8.0, that's about how doors go, but 6.8 is the most common height. Okay, so that's that. Now, everybody can see this. This is going to be, I'm going to let this convert. So this will be embedded in the module for this week. So if you need to go back and look at this stuff, you can, but I really want you to draw this, okay? So if nothing else, I want you to sketch it, the rectangle, where the windows and doors are, and dimension it. It's a 28'6" this way, deep, by 24.0 building in quarter scale with 2 windows.
Hey,
Yes.
Hey, sorry to backtrack, but what's the measurement on the interior wall from the exterior?
Oh, you know what? I gave you all exterior dimensions. But I give you exterior dimensions, and really they probably should have been interior, but I started with the outside walls. But your question again, one more time.
How far did you measure in from the exterior wall to get the interior?
Oh, 6 inches. I call them 6-inch walls.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so in quarter scale, that'd be half of one of your squares, right? And also on a 1/4-inch graph paper, it'd be half of one of your squares.
When you upload this, could you actually take a picture of the things as they're not super clear in this, or just something that we can see the dimensions clearly because it can't see your writing or anything?
That sucks.
Kind of blurry. Yeah.
Crap. What about? I can, but I'm trying to save myself having to video this, which is the only way I can think of doing it. I guess I could just post a picture. There isn't. This is not working. Let's see if I can get it. No, I really can't get it to a place where.
Try zooming.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, can you zoom on Zoom? Because I don't think this camera doesn't have a built-in zoom. This webcam doesn't have a built-in zoom. Is there a zoom function on Zoom? Yeah, probably not.
It's still not clear.
If I was taking this, okay, so I'll get these drawings. You know, I'll get all 4 of these drawings. Okay, I'll get the sketched and dimensioned floor plan and the sketched and dimensioned cabinet that we did last week. I will get them. I'll scan them. I'll put them in as PDFs and I'll put them in the module.
So
Okay.
Even a cell phone photo would at least make it good enough to see the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll definitely do that. I'll definitely do that. So count on that. Either way, cell phone photo, which actually, then how would I get that cell phone photo into my pipeline into the module? I'd have to upload that to something. So I'm going to do what I know how to do, which is I know how to scan and turn into a PDF, and I know how to embed that PDF in my module. So that shouldn't be a problem. I'll do that. I'll do that so you guys will have access to that, better access than this. This is BS. And that HD camera is a lot better. A heck of a lot better. It's me again. I'm going to show you some stuff. Then we're going to watch a little TV. So here's a question for you, too. You got everybody ready? Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Would you prefer to go a little bit, take a break, and then go longer? Or would you prefer to go a little longer and not take a break and just bag it?
I could just bag it.
Let's just go for it.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, is everybody okay with that? We'll just push on through the couple of things I want to do. You know, I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then we'll get right to these couple of videos, and then after those videos, we'll call it good. You guys, everybody okay with that?
Yeah, can you send those tonight? Those images.
I can send
If not, it's no worry.
those, can't I? No, you know what? I'm back in our guest house. We have VRBO guests, so
No worries.
what I can do is how would I get a picture from my cell phone up onto Canvas? How would I do that?
Could you just email it?
Yeah, I could do that, I guess. Easy enough. Send it to myself, put it on my computer, go into Pipeline, and then just send out an email to you guys, to all you guys. Actually, Jeff showed me how to do that. If I start a Google email in Pipeline, from my Google email, all I got to do is put in the CRN and it populates with everybody in the class. Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'll do it. All right. I'll do that. I'll do it before I retire. Okay. I'll take a picture. I'll take a clear picture of this floor plan so you can see the numbers. Yeah,
There it is.
pretty close.
We can see it a section at a time.
Well, if you sketched a rectangle, you could just, like I said, sketching and dimensioning is one thing, and then taking the, see, I'm pretty practiced at this. I can draw stuff to scale pretty fast. But sketching and dimensioning, you can do pretty quick. Like, see, I changed that to 24:0. There's the doorway. That's my sketch. That's an actual sketch. And I haven't fleshed it out. I would, I'd put more detail and some more numbers on it. I would dimension it. And maybe make a keynote or something. Oh, I didn't even show the cabinet, did I? Wait, where's the cabinet? Did I not draw it? Huh, I didn't draw it. So I'll do that too. No, I'll send you guys. I'll just send it to you in an email. Okay? Everybody all right with that? All right, now I want to show you some stuff. I want to show you what I bought today. And then we're going to watch some videos, 2 videos this guy Shannon and another woodworker. Pretty good videos. I liked them a lot. So this opening right here, that opening right there, that's a cased opening, right? And I'm gonna recase it, and I think I'll do a video of it. And I'll pop this casing. I got 2 legs and a head, and I'll recase with a mitered casing and show you guys how I case. But I'm not gonna do it tonight. But in preparation for doing that, I wanted to show you how cool the nailing is and how I went today to get another one of these to do wire nails. So would you rather use a tool like this to nail on the outside of your casing with a 2.5 inch 15 gauge nail? Or would you rather fire up this super heavy compressor? Oh my God, I could barely lift it. I don't know if you even saw that. I might have been under for you. I just lifted this super heavy compressor, but they had just sold out of their only 23 gauge wire nailer in cordless. So I had to get an uncordless one, which is good. This is a good tool. It's called Grex. That's the brand. It's a wire nailer. So wire nails have no heads. This is unbelievable, really. That's 23 gauge. Basically little bits of wire. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a difference. Okay, it makes a big difference. So there those guys are, loaded in that little gun. This little, now that's 7 or 8 nails, maybe 6 nails altogether there. So with this guy, because it's not cordless, it's runs with the compressor. We got to drag around a compressor. We got to drag around a hose. We got to plug the compressor in. Then we got to plug this guy in, and then we can shoot wires. 23 gauge. Well, must have a. Oh wow, what a trip! It's got an incredible safety, and somebody crank this down to 40 pounds. You cannot shoot a nail. I don't know if you can see that. Can you guys see that? Oh my gosh, let me put it in something so you can actually see. So I use that 15 gauge nailer myself. I use that 15 gauge nailer myself to nail into the king stud or the trimmer out here. Big old 2.5 inch nail locks that outside of the casing to the framing. And then this lands on the jamb, leaving maybe a 3/16 1/4 inch reveal. So you don't want to, you don't want to split that out. You don't want a big nail, and you want to be able to nail close too. So incredible safety on it. I love it. 23 gauge wire nails. And I'll show you how how small that hole is. There's the nail. There's the hole. It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's like you don't even have to fill them. They're so small. I'm going to show you. I've got that there because I'm going to show you all how to scribe one day in the foreseeable near future. How to use a scribe and what to do with the scribe. But would you rather drag the hose around and the compressor, or just have a little heavier but cordless? Like for me, it's a no-brainer, cordless. And the cordless pinner, you know, it's a half again as big as this. It's not as small as this, as manageable as this. This has a place you can hang it on your belt. Okay, so let's get on with it. Get on with it. And I'm so hungry. Donna, you still eating?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing any second now. Stop. Or no, wait. I'm on pin video. I'm not screen sharing anyway. So I'm going to start sharing. Is what I mean. Okay. All right, so this guy's pretty good. Are you guys seeing this full screen YouTube?
Yeah.
And I like to use about a.
So he's Canadian. Don't hold that against him. He couldn't help it.
So basically what we've got here is a small
And you can
bedroom.
tell when he said
Got a
got.
long, not so tall window over on this side, and we've got.
Okay, so I'm going to let this play, and then if you guys and gals see anything that you'd like me to explain or just want to chime in, just do it. Chime in loud. I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it too, and I'll stop and I can answer your questions. But let's watch this right now. This guy's pretty good.
Closet door behind the camera area. So first of all, I'm just going to start with the window. I'll show you how to mark it out and measure it. And then we'll do the door, and then we'll go out and cut, come back and install it.
Sounds good.
So the first thing I would start out with is you always want your trim to leave a little bit of a reveal around the framework here. And I like to use about 1/4 of an inch. Some people will use 1/8, but I don't know, I'm used to using 1/4, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I do is in each corner of the window, I'm going to take a tape measure and a pencil. I'm just going to measure back, put a little mark at 1/4 of an inch. And this will just assist, once I have the trim in here, just assist lining it up. If you had a sliding little T-square or something, you could set it at 1/4 and go around and mark everything either way. We've got the blinds still on in this case, so we've got to work around them a little bit, but not a big deal. So I'm just going to simply go around, put some little marks where 1/4 inch is, so that we know when we're putting the trim on that that's where I need to line up to before I nail it.
Too much time.
So I don't know, I'm going every couple feet or something like that.
It's taking too much time.
Just to give you a guideline.
But
okay, so we've gone around, marked all our reveal at 1/4 inch, and we've got that done. Now we're going to measure, take the actual measurements for the window. So because I know what my reveal is, I can add that onto my measurement. So I'm simply just going to measure from the inside edges of the frames, top and bottom, side to side, and then add 1/2 inch, which will give the 1/4 inch on each reveal. So what I'm actually getting is a a measurement, if this is your piece of trim with the miters cut on it, I'm actually getting these two short corners are the 2 points that I'm getting the measurements for. Okay, so like I said, I'm just butting into the inside of the upper jamb. I've got 26 inches there, so I'm going to make that 26 and a half. Just going to write that down.
To the inside of the miter.
Okay, so 26 and a half. Now I'm going to measure from the inside of this side casing to the inside of that side casing.
And this is called picture frame casing. And there's a way better way to do a window, which I'm going to show you, not tonight. Maybe not tonight.
Just come right over here, and I've got 85 and 1/2. Okay, so that makes it 86. I'll just double check that the top and this other side are the same. They should be. That one's 26. I'll just grab a stool, check the top. That's 85 and 1/2. So yeah, all the measurements are the same. Generally they should be, but you know, if you're dealing with maybe an older window or something that's out of square, they could possibly be different. If it's not too much different, then you're better off to cut all your pieces the same so that your actual miters line up properly and everything looks right. You can kind of cheat a little bit on your reveal if you need to make it seem square.
Good grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays that inspire.
Okay, so we're over at the closet. We've got an opening here. This is sliding doors when it's finished. So same thing, I'm going to use the 1/4 inch reveal. So I'm just going to mark that out over here on the side jamb in a few spots. And again, this is just a guide so that you can line everything up, try to keep it straight. And obviously the trim is going to go right down to the floor. And then this trim is coming up to here. And actually, I'm just going to mark this down here. Okay, down this side. And this will all get painted up nice when we're done. Okay, so now measurement wise. So now that I've got those marks.
I would never make all those marks in a bajillion years. I'd make one at the top. I think one at the top and one at the bottom if I made any at all, and then I would just shim to the reveal. I'd have my little adjustable square and against the face of the jamb or eyeball it. So guy's taking way too much time, but he's methodical. Go ahead.
Couldn't you just use a 1/4 inch piece and just hold that up while you're tacking it on?
You could do that too. I tell you, a small sliding square is what's happening.
There, I can also use those if you want as your reference point if you're not, you know, not wanting to do the math or whatever. So on the door, like I said, the trim is going to sit right down on the floor, and I can just simply measure up to my first mark near this corner. So I've got 78 and 1/8, and I always draw myself just a quick little sketch. So I've got my door frame. 78 and what the heck did I say now?
1/8. 78 and 1/8.
78 and 1/8. Sometimes these will be different, so that's why I draw myself a little map. Check this side. And see, this one's 78 and 1/4. I'll mark that on my little picture. Now I want to measure for the header piece. So I'm going to measure inside and inside just like I did on the window, add 1/2 inch. And that should be okay. So I've got 46 and 1/8. So I'm going to make that 46 and 5/8 to the short point. I'll mark that on my map. If you kind of have a system and you use that system, like always measure from the same places, always write the numbers, you know, to the inside short points, whatever your system is, do that all the time, then you shouldn't have as many problems. If you start switching your system around, then you're just going to mix yourself up. So I've got the measurements for all those. I think we can go out and cut them up and bring them back.
After 30 days, I could not believe my before and after picture. I literally rolled back the.
Okay, so the trim we're going to be installing today is an MDF molding. It's painted white. It's about a 3¼ inch profile. There's lots of different ones to choose from, so it really doesn't matter on what trim you've chosen. The basic concept of measuring, cutting, and installing it basically should be the same. So this is just a chunk of what we're going to put in. Beforehand, just to make it simpler, so I wasn't swinging 14-foot long pieces of trim around the camera and the cameraman, I just roughly cut it to a reasonable length that's easier to deal with. So what I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to cut the door first, just because I've got that trim sitting here right on the edge of the table first. So as you remember, you picture a door frame, we've got a right side, a left side, and then the piece that goes across the header. So really doesn't matter what you cut first, to be quite honest. I'm going to cut the right-hand side. So you always want to make sure that the bottom edge that's on the floor is cut straight, especially in this case, we're going down on a hardwood floor. On carpet, it's not as noticeable because you're pushed down into the carpet a little bit. So that's going to be my bottom edge. I'm just going to lay it here by the saw, and I wanted 78 and 1/8. So I'm hooking right on the bottom edge. I'm measuring on the inside edge of the profile. This side, this is the outside, this is the inside, okay? So all my measurements were taken to the inside edges. So I'm going to measure up that 78 and 1/8. I'm going to put a pencil line right on the edge here, okay? Now, that cut is going to be, that's a 90-degree turn in the trim, so we want to basically take 90 degrees divided in half, which is 45 degrees. So you're going to take and set your saw to 45 degrees. Remember, I'm cutting the, when you're facing the door frame, I'm cutting the right-hand side right now as you face it. So make sure you got the saw going the right direction so that you got the left, so the right side, not the left side. And I've got my pencil mark down there. I can, if you're not 100% sure, you can kind of get right down here and just, without obviously turning the saw on, you can kind of eyeball yourself up, get yourself close. If anything, you want to be just a hair long. Make your first cut, and then you can always shorten it up a little bit after. Once you cut it too short, you're usually hooped. You're not going to stretch the wood. So cut it, that'd be a good hint, especially the first few cuts. Cut it a little bit longer. You can always nibble a little more off afterwards. So I'm going to make this cut. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this piece of scrap so it doesn't cause us any problems on the saw. And I am just maybe a 1/16 long. So I'm going to slide this over just a hair, take that off. Okay, so that should be good. So this would be my right-hand side as I'm facing the doorway. Notice how the angle is. Okay, pretty basic. So we've got that piece cut. I'm going to cut now the left-hand side. Make sure my bottom's square. And I'm going to measure on the inside. This one was 78 1/4. Placing my mark right on that edge because that's the point that we actually measured to on the frame there inside. Now, I obviously can't cut it this way or it's going to be the miter's going to be going the wrong way. So I would need to rotate the saw around to 45 degrees the other direction. Get things lined up so that I'm close. Okay, my hands are back. That's another video we should do, is proper use of a miter saw, but anyways, just make sure your hands are back. Get rid of our strap piece, and that cut was good. I was right on the line there. You can just faintly see it possibly. Zoom in that close, but anyways.
Yeah, you cut the line. Good. Should have.
See, it's right on. So that's our left side. Now our next piece, a little bit trickier, but not rocket science. this is our header piece. So it's going to have a miter on each end. So we need to start out with a miter to have a place to measure from. So I'm going to just do it on this end here. So I'm just going to line up the sauce. So I get a nice miter, 45 degrees. Okay, so this will give us a point to measure from. Now this is always a little tricky. One way of doing it is if you have a bench like this or a table or something where you can stretch your tape out right beside the trim and it can sit there without falling off, it makes it a lot easier. The measurement we're looking for is 46 5/8. So a little trick here. I'm going to actually set this end of my tape at 48 5/8, which is 2 inches longer than we wanted. The reason for that is then I can go down to this end, and at the 2-inch mark, I can make my penciled line. If you were to line this up at the 46 5/8, right out on this point, right down here, if you were to do that, now I've got to come back here and you're trying to guess exactly where that is. It's just easier to line it up right on an increment, right on the tape measure. So each their own, whatever you want to do, but that's what I do. Okay, so now we've got our miter this way. On this other end, we need to turn the saw. This is where some people will get confused, making sure they've got the angle going the right direction. Same as before, just going to get down, get myself lined up real close. Like I said, if anything a little long, make my cut. Okay, and again, we're right on there, so there's no need to make another cut. So there's our header piece. It's got a miter on both ends. Obviously, just to give you the idea, when you're facing at the right-hand end, these pieces are going to go together like that. Okay, so there's our door pieces cut. We're just going to set those to the side. And then I'm going to get the window piece going. So now all of the window pieces in this case are going to have a 45 or a miter at each end. Okay, so we've got to get ourselves to that point where we can measure. So we need to get one miter started on the end. And I'm actually going to do that on every piece here, right off the start. Okay, so I've got them all started. So we have a miter on one end. We need to do that measurement, and it's very similar to the head piece we did on the other one. These longer ones are going to be 86. So like I did before, I'm going to actually stretch this right out to 88, which is 2 inches longer. And then mark at the 2-inch spot. Right there. Okay, and that's going to be my cut on that one. So now all these rest of these cuts are going to be from the other end of the board. I need to turn the saw. Now when you're using the miter saw, you want to make sure you've got your wood pushed right back against the fence and tight down. You don't want it on an angle or it's going to throw the actual angle you're trying to cut off. Okay, that one's good. So I think you get the idea here. I'm just going to show you once more this measuring thing. So we wanted 86. Like I've said 100 times now, I mark it 2 inches longer, or don't mark it, but I place my tape 2 inches longer at this end. And then I mark it at 2 inches here. Just gonna make sure nothing moved. We should be good. Okay, so just do that on the remainder of your pieces, and then we'll be right back inside to show you how to install it.
It was about the third week into Kathy's weight loss battle where things really started to go downhill.
Okay, so we're back inside. Something that's probably worth mentioning is obviously you just watched me cut that on with a sliding compound miter saw. Not everybody's going to have one of those. It's not 100% necessary that you have one to do this job. If you're going to do a lot of windows, I'd recommend at least borrowing or renting one. Sure going to save you a lot of time, but you could certainly cut that with just with a wooden miter box and a handsaw. That'd be kind of your other option. Really, skill saw or anything like that really isn't going to do a very nice job. But if you got a miter box, like a handheld miter box with a handsaw, you can definitely do it like that. And to do 2 or 3 windows, whatever, probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. If you're doing 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, a bunch of baseboard or something, you're probably going to want to either invest in one or borrow an electric miter box. So we've got that. We've got our trim inside. I'm going to use a brad nailer, which is air powered brad nailer to attach these trims. You could also hand nail this with finishing nails. Again, just depends on how much of this you're going to do. Seems like lots of people have brad nailers now in a compressor, so you may be able to even just borrow one. So we're going to start out. Basically, I'm going to hold the trim in place. I'm going to be nailing through this area of the trim right into the door frame. And after I get that all tacked into place, then we'll nail a little further out back into the wall if need be. You know, if it's a little floppy or something. So I'm using 1 3/16" nails. It's really going to depend on the thickness of your trim. But basically, like here, I've got about a ½ inch of thickness in the trim here. So I want to be at least 3/4 inch into the wood, or you know, whatever you're nailing into. So I'm using 1 3/16". So pretty simple. Just sit this right down on the floor, lining it up with your pencil mark that you had down there. Slide the top over, line it up with the pencil mark you had up here. Put a nail in about 2 inches down. Okay, so that's basically going to hold that standing there. Now just work your way along, looking for the pencil marks that you had. Placing a nail at or near each one. Okay, just like that. So we've got our first side piece packed into place. Now what I'm going to do is put the header piece across there. And what I'm also going to do is add a bit of glue at this miter that we're going to form right here. So this piece is just going to sit right on top. Good idea just to double check that your measurements or your cuts are good. Which this one isn't, actually about 1 inch long. So I'll have to recut that. All right, so I went out and cut this to the right length this time, and we'll just double check now. That's a lot better. Just stand this up there and get an idea. Yeah, everything should be okay. So see, even I can make a mistake. Okay, so we've got that double checked. As I said before, we're going to put a bit of glue on this miter, just to help hold things together a little bit better. So I'm going to set it up on there. I'm going to get this corner all nice as I can. Now, I'm just going to make sure that height-wise everything works out fine. Should be okay there. I'm going to put a nail in the middle, just like so. Okay, so we've got that started there. Actually, something else you want to do, I'll have to do it from the top. You can see here on this corner, everything is not quite lining up the way it should as far as flush across here. So I'm going to pull them out flush and carefully put a brad nail down through the top just to help hold them. Just like that. So now they're nice and flush. Okay, going back to this corner. I'm going to put some glue on the top of this miter, on this side piece. You don't need a whole bunch of glue there, but just a little bit of a bead there. I'll stand this in place. I'm going to line this miter up here as best as it will. Okay, just like that. And then we're just going to work our way down the door frame using the marks we had put on there. Well, I don't know, I'm nailing about every 15, 16 inches apart. We just want to make sure it's on there well. And again, I'm going to go up and nail that corner, flush these up. Like that. Got a little bit of glue squirting out there. Okay, so we've got that on there. You can see things are a little bit, there's a little bit of movement there, so I'm going to switch to some longer nails. The reason I'm going longer is the trim is slightly thicker out on this edge. Plus I've got to go through the drywall before I hit any framing. So I'm basically going through about 1.25 inches of material before I actually get back to the framing that I want to attach to. And I'm not going to go crazy on the nails here, but I'm going to place one about 6 inches up from the floor, one about in the middle here, and one a foot or so down, just to strengthen this up a little bit. We've got the door jamb right here. We've got a little bit of space, and then we've got 1.5 inches of wood here. So I should be able to nail right along the side of this rib without any problems and get into some wood. Okay, same thing across the top, just a couple. Just like so. Okay. Now, before I go to the window, I'm going to show you just here on the door. What I like to use is a wall repair compound, just like a little container wall patch. And I fill all my nail holes and touch up the miter joints here. Because this is painted, but the inside is a brown color, it doesn't take much of a crack here to show through brown right away. So I just simply put a little bit on my finger, just go over to the nail hole, give it a rub and a wipe with a different finger. Really easy to do. With this stuff, if you do this, there's no point in sanding after. You can get it wiped off really nice with your other finger. And then when that dries, you can come back and touch up all the paint on that. So that's what I do on the nail holes on this joint up here. Really the same thing, just use my finger to smear it in here. If I used a putty knife or something like that to try to smooth this around, it's just going to scratch the trim more. So that's why I use a finger. My finger will go and shape to the contour of the trim as well a little bit better. So I just put it on fairly liberally. Make sure I get all my cracks filled in. And wipe it off. If you have a damp rag, you can give it a little quick wipe with a damp rag too to get off the excess. And again, if you get it cleaned off good enough, there's no point in doing any sanding afterwards. So it just makes it look better. Now I can go back and paint that when I'm done. Touch everything up. Also, another thing I like to do is in this corner here where I've left the reveal all the way around, I'll take a latex caulking and just put a small bead of caulking in here. Just to get any spaces or any gaps or anything, it just seals it off. When you've got it all painted up, it just looks like this.
Caulk and paint make a carpenter what he ain't.
This is all one piece, and it just makes a really clean, nice looking look. So obviously this frame needs to be painted again anyway, so I will caulk this, paint everything up, and it'll look really good. Okay, so that's the door frame. We're going to just flip to the other side of the room, do the window, and go from there. Okay, so just to speed things up, I've already attached the top piece of casing there.
That would be
Really,
the
this is a
head
lot
trim.
like what you just watched me do on the door.
That would be the head trim.
We've got our side pieces. I'm going to simply glue the corners. Get some glue out of here. So I'm going to slide it up into position into the top one that's already there. Get my miter lined up. I've switched back to the shorter nails again. Okay, I just stuck 3 nails in there. So now I'm just going to go over to the other side, just get this one hanging in place. So again, though, I need some glue. Just going to zip over here. Okay, and I haven't put the bottom nail in, so that way I can still move this a little bit if I need to adjust for the length of this bottom piece. And I'm going to put some glue on the bottom piece ends, I should say. That. And then I'll go over to this end. You can just hold that end up for me. This piece is kind of long, so I'm just getting some assistance to hold that end up. I'm going to get this end lined up in place. And then I can come over to this side. And I can MacGyver this into place. Like that. Now I can just go along my bottom, get my bottom all lined up for my reveal. Okay. I'm going to switch to the longer nails. Above the window, I'm going to have a header up there so I can, I should be able to have lots of wood to nail into. Okay, just like that. This side here is being a little stubborn. Okay. So we've got that nailed into place. And like I said before, we can run a bead of caulking in here afterwards. In this case, on this window, it's actually pretty nice, pretty tight to the window at this end, and I've probably got an 1/8 inch or better.
All right, I've had it with that guy. So let's see. Hey, guys, still with me?
Yeah.
Good. Guys and gal, everybody's here. Hey, speaker view, so it should be pin video. That guy's, he's good. I don't trim out like that exactly. That is a fairly efficient way to go if you have a decently square window. But I'll show you when I do I'll do a video and I'll trim out this opening, but I build it a leg at a time. So I make this miter work, then I mark where this one goes, and then I make that last miter work. So I do that with windows too. That's an awfully long run to support, but he showed how to picture frame a window, and I prefer a more classic window trim. Even if you are mitering, I prefer stool and apron. I'm just going to show you stool and apron on the board, and then we're going to probably call it quits. We're going to call it quits. So everybody see the board okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So does anybody know what a stool and apron is? Okay, so in window vernacular, I think I mentioned this a week or so ago, which is fenestration from the Greek fenestra, opening. Window nomenclature is it's pretty specialized, muntins and mullions and stuff like that. And in window trim, it's the same thing. So I'm going to draw a cross section for starters and show you the difference between a stool and a sill. So this is a window frame in cross section, right? So, and actually that might get confusing. Let's just do it not from perspective, just straight across. And if this is the exterior, typically you've got a sloped sill or a slope sill added with a drip curve. Exterior, that's called a sill. On the interior, this trim, which goes usually right up to the window or right up to the window stop, it's usually back cut. That's called a stool. And the trim beneath it is called an apron. So what that looks like on a face-on view of the way I like to see windows, because I'm really a cross-really window guy, but you don't, this can be done mitered too. It's just more classic. So if this is your window, your stool goes into the bottom frame of the window. It ears looking down on it. This is the window frame. Your stool starts in here, and it has ears. So it goes into the window. This would be the window itself, the sash, the glass, right? It goes into the window on the bottom, and it ears out. And it ears out far enough to receive the casing as it drops down. Now, from the front, here's your window. Here's your stool, which I like 1/2 inch reveal. Your stool is a 1/2 inch beyond your trim. Here's your leg of your trim, leg of your trim. Your head, which is a 1/4 inch taller and a 1/2 inch reveal again. I mean, a 1/4 inch thicker and taller, and a 1/2 inch past the window. And then your apron, which is the same size as your leg trim. That's a classically trimmed window that you'd see in any craftsman style house or California bungalow, or anything like that. Now, that classically trimmed window with a stool and apron can also be done with any of that molded trim. That's all square. If you're going to use molding, like the stuff I bought, like, well, that's all baseboard, but if you're going to use a profile molding, then your legs just need to miter, right? Your legs just need to, what the hell am I? Just need to miter. That way you can run a profile around it. Because with any kind of profile trim, you can't butt it. You have to miter it. It has to be mitered. It doesn't butt. The profiles don't allow it to. So you can do a mitered, like a part picture frame trim, or mitered head and legs down to a stool with an apron trim. And your apron trim can be back cut. It can be a piece of, I've seen people use crown moldings, all kinds of fun stuff to do, and also window treatment. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. With the moldings available to us today, just off the shelf, we could just make up all these great build-ups by building up various and sundry pieces of molding. So that might be all I've got. I just sent myself I just took 4 pictures of the, I took 4 pictures of those drawings. I took a picture, sketch and dimension from last week, scale drawing from last week, sketch and dimension from this evening, scale drawing from this evening. I sent them to my pipeline, so when we sign off, I'll go to my email and they'll be there. I'll put them in a file here and I'll attach them and send them via email. They might, I wonder if that's going to be too big though, if I send all 4 of those. There's not a lot of detail, but that's what I'll try to do. Okay. So does anybody have any questions for me? Oh wait, we're not showing screen. I want to go to the gallery view. Here we go. Here we go. Anybody have any questions? Questions at all? Okay, so we're going to end here any second now. This will be on a YouTube link on module 4. I don't know. I'll get to it in a couple of days. I may not get to it right away, but I will take this recording and get it into the module so you can look at it again. If you like, you can refer to it, and then I will try to send you all this email through the pipeline account of those 4 pictures I took of those drawings. And if I can't do that, at some point I'll scan them and put them up as PDFs in the module. Okay. So any questions about anything you saw, anything that this guy did or said, or anything I've said? Anybody? Is anybody tired and hungry? Oh my God. You're still hungry, Donna? What are we going to eat next? I want to go In-N-Out's too close, In-N-Out's too close to the Wake campus. It's really bad. It's bad news. So, okay, gang. So next week, be here, please, at 6 o'clock, and I'll tell you about my trip to Pismo Beach. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I'll try to give you a heads up before, but if I don't, be prepared to be surprised. Okay?
Is the beach back open?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know. I was curious if you can drive on the sand or not.
Oh, no. Yeah, they did open it. They opened up the dunes about 2 weekends ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can. And our friends have a pass and they drive out. I got my truck stuck out there. It was a $300 tow.
Oh.
Yeah. And it took the guy all of 60 seconds to pull me out. I mean, I just felt like such an idiot. And it's a 4-wheel drive, 3/4 ton truck. It's no way I should get stuck, man. Anyway, I did get stuck, so that's a sore subject, but thanks for bringing it up. And what was I thinking of? Damn it. Shoot. Might as well set stuff up. I can't think of what I was thinking of for you guys. What was I thinking of? I broke ground on that job.
Nice.
Job I started. I started the demo and supposed to be grubbing this week. So next week I may have some pictures of that. And with some luck, next week or coming up, I'll get either a portion of this video. I got a video. Anyway, I'm doing this wall in up on Mountain Drive, the piano house. I think I showed you guys that's on the Out Construction website. This wall is 82 inches by 10 foot tall, and it has a full-size bronze woman serving volleyball. She's like this, and she's full-size bronze, and she's bursting out of the wall, and she's got 3 anchor points. And we templated that in 3 panels, these just insane templates. Which I got a scribe video to show you, but I'm not going to show you tonight. And then they're getting wrapped. They're making stainless steel, 18 gauge stainless, mirrored stainless. They're wrapping the edges of my 1/2-inch plywood templates, and then we'll get the stainless back and the templates. We'll marry the stainless to the templates with cyanoacrylate glue, which is you have about 10 seconds of working time, and it's super high heat. It'll take 1100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we'll take those up there and we'll use a high heat construction adhesive. I haven't chosen that yet. Stick this on the wall around this sculpture to do this mirrored wall. I know I'm just a bunch of verbiage, but I'll have some pics. You guys it's a very interesting project, to say the least, I'll tell you, man. scribe city. So who knows what a scribe is? John knows what a scribe is. Arthur knows what a scribe is. For those of you that don't know what a scribe is, that's a scribe. Compass with a bent point. And I'm going to show you how to use this soon enough. So I think that's it. I gotta eat something, man. I gotta go home. Okay. You guys are already home. What's up with that? You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to go to your refrigerator. And in some cases, you don't even have to go to your bed. You're probably sitting on your bed right now. Right, Jose? Right, Austin? Anyway, it's a pleasure, you guys, y'all. If you have any feedback or comments, hit me up with an email, and I'll be seeing you all next week, 6 o'clock. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Johnny. Have a good weekend.
Hey, yourselves also. Have a great weekend.
All right.
And then and I will just let's use the same link unless you hear otherwise from me. I'll make it happen. Okay. Okay. See you later. Good night.
See you later.